I would say there are a lot of naysayers actually with the combined training. They'll say things like, well, you're going to end up doing one specialty only. Um, and in a way, what they're getting at is the fact that the system isn't really developed. By the system, I mean, the payers and all of that stuff. So if you're in practice, it is truly difficult. So you've got to have an administration that understands that you want to do both things and that you're going to have staff that are equipped to handle that. And right. So that's just kind of more in the minutia, because I don't think that should determine what you do for your training. And so the way that I looked at it was, what is it that I want to do? What is it I want to accomplish? What is it that I want to learn? I would say be driven by that as much as you can. I very clearly kind of said, well, I actually had taken 4 years off before from college to medical school, and which I also would recommend for people to do if they're so inclined. I think taking a little bit of time off is a really good idea. Working, just getting a sense of kind of what's out there, what it means to work, and maybe not make that much money or whatever, but it really makes you appreciate getting back into school. You're like, oh, this is great. And anyway, that's what happened for me. But yeah, and so everybody's different. If you're like kind of pressed for time, I guess, in your life, or you have commitments, or you need to make money, that's tough, because realistically I had to delay my student loans for 8 years, and so they racked up, right? There are ways, like I ended up getting a lot reimbursed from the government through a program that's through the NIH, because I was doing research. So they basically said, okay, that's great research. We'll pay back $100,000 of your loan. That's great. And that's what I mean. Like, it's anxiety provoking because you've got so much, debt, et cetera, but if you can, kind of follow your heart on it. Like I said, from that other person who told me, if you feel like you could sort of do one and not the other, and that would be okay, then perhaps that's the right decision. It's just really like a personal kind of driven thing, but I would say go for it, because it's always nice to have something that defines you. It's a bit of a challenge to kind of put it together, because you're going to be like a bit of a zebra, like you're a little different, which I would say is a challenge. And so, you just have to kind of be okay with that and move forward. So I would say kind of like more power to you, go get them or whatever, I'd say just do it. There's always this pressure to kind of grow up, and don't, medicine's a very good way to push all of that growing up back. But there's also really only so much you can do in training, because as you get older, you just want to do it yourself, basically. And so, I did as much as I would do, 8 years. And, other specialties, like if you were a surgeon and then you did the subspecialty, it might be 7 years or even 8 years. And so it's not like totally uncommon, but it is a little bit more, if I had just done medicine 3 years and then gone into fellowship, that's 6 years, but oftentimes they'll do another year as a super fellow. And so that's 7 years, so I wouldn't worry about the years, because, these things kind of, as you go on, there may be other ways that they kind of add up.